Hey there folks, it is Rob. Welcome back to the channel. Today's going to be a brand new Franchise Frenzy video where we're going to be ranking the Part 8s. And I am down to 9 franchises, so we're getting close. I just want to say I apologize for my voice. I'm just getting over a cold. It's been kind of kicking my ass for a couple weeks. Cough, headache, drainage. So I don't know. It's like really hot here. Then you go into the air conditioning after sweating your ass off, and then then you start to get sick. So anyway, yeah, I'm feeling better, but my voice is still a little bit hoarse, so I do apologize. And I haven't been making a lot of videos lately. A lot of personal stuff going on, but I am trying to do more videos, get more of them scheduled, and continue on with my channel. So stay tuned. I will be coming out with more content. So let's get started here. Like I said, 9 franchises. I'm going to go from least favorite to favorite. You're probably going to be surprised with my number 1 because I doubt that anybody will have this movie in their number 1 spot. And it just goes to show you how much of a fan I am of that certain franchise. So, but we'll get to that. All right. Starting with number 9 is the Day of the Dead remake with Mina Suvari in it and Nick Cannon, out of all people. This movie is a mess. The thing is, it was directed by Steve Miner, which I do like him as a director. He did Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3, a couple of my favorites, and then Halloween H2O, which I really like. I believe he did Lake Placid, but this movie is just all over the place. I actually prefer the other Day of the Dead. I think it's Day of the Dead Bloodlines. I actually thought that was more of a remake to the original Day of the Dead. There are a lot of references, but yeah, this movie it's just not very good. But it is canon. It is a remake, so that's number 9. Number 8 is Hellraiser Hellworld. This movie, I only saw it once, and it just wasn't really one of my favorites, but it has to go somewhere. So I do always praise Doug Bradley, though. He is the star of the show, always. Whatever Hellraiser movie comes out, he is Pinhead. I mean, that is just the way it is. So that is a huge positive, with this movie. So that's number 8. Number 7 is Leatherface. I don't hate this movie, nor do I really dislike it. I think there are some cool kills and some cool scenes. But the whole beginning where you see Leatherface as a kid and he gets a chainsaw for his birthday and they're kind of forcing him to kill this thief with a chainsaw. I thought that was complete overkill. I mean, do we really have to shove it in people's faces that he is Leatherface and he uses a chainsaw? It's like, I just thought that was overkill. I don't know. To me, it's just like they shove it in your face. But I will say that Lily Taylor is the highlight of this movie. I loved her in this movie. And I love her in a lot of movies. The very first movie I saw her in was The Haunting. She was in Ransom. She was in Rudy. She's in a lot of movies. Stephen Dorff was great too. And they kind of make you believe it's this fat kid, that's Leatherface. But the thing is, they give it away on the cover. That's all I'm going to say. There is a twist in this movie. But, yeah. Like I said, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It's just really not for me. Not really one of my favorites when it comes to the series. Number 6 is the Child's Play remake. here's the thing about this movie. I thought this movie was okay. There are some decent kills. I do like Mark Hamill that does the voice of Buddy. And the thing about this movie is it reminded me more of My Buddy. I don't know if you guys remember the My Buddy dolls that came out, I believe, in the 80s. You know, it looked just like the cover here. It looked just like that doll. I think this looks more like My Buddy than it does Chucky. And I like the fact that it's a completely new story and they go in a different direction. And I really like that. But calling it Child's Play, they don't need to attach the fact that it is a remake. I think that was just to get the asses in the seats. And companies do that a lot. I think that, I think by calling it, My Buddy or calling it Buddy or something like that, it wouldn't have had the same effect as Child's Play does. So, I don't really like when companies do that, but whatever. It is a remake. Texas Chainsaw Massacre did it different than the original. Hills Have, those movies did different things. So, and that's what this one did. So I don't hate this movie whatsoever. I don't think it deserves the hate. That's for sure. All right. So number 5, I'm going to open this up like this. We're going to say Halloween Resurrection. I think this movie is kind of a guilty pleasure for me, with Busta Rhymes, Tyra Banks and all that. This movie has a lot of problems, but, there's some cool stuff in it. It's entertaining. I just want to say that. I like the whole camera system, how they go in the Michael Myers house and stuff, but the story itself is just pretty lame. But it is a Halloween movie. And it is part of the series. So, number 4 is Alien Covenant, which I saw in the theater. And I liked it. Though I love Prometheus way more than this movie. But it definitely had some really good atmosphere, some good kills and stuff, and made you kind of feel uneasy. So, I thought it was a good entry. Number 3 is Jigsaw. This movie definitely had a Saw feel to it, and it continues like it says there, the game continues. I don't know how I feel about the ending, but I do like a lot of the traps and the kills in this. I thought that was, I think that it's always creative when they can do it good and make it believable to where you're like, man, that would suck to be in that situation. I like when they do that. But again, going back to like Saw 3D or Saw 7 in the beginning, when there's 2 guys and a girl, 2 guys are fighting over the girl, and they got to choose who dies. That to me was just ridiculous. When they do that kind of shit, it's just not, I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea, that's for sure. But this was good. All right, number 2 is Freddy vs. Jason. Now, this is the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise version of Freddy vs. Jason. I've always defended this film. The only big complaint I have about this movie is the fact that they didn't get Kane Hodder to play Jason. I would have loved to see Kane Hodder and Robert Englund go head to head. Ken Kirsinger was fine, but he was more like a Frankenstein Jason, which, I guess we got Frankenstein Jason when he was dead, but it's I just would prefer Kane Hodder. I like his movements. I like his breathing, his kills, everything about him. So, but we got this, and I love the fights. I actually love the music, and yeah, the characters are good too. Got your nose. All right, guys. So my number 1, and you're probably going to be like, what? Number 1 is Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. This is my Paramount VHS. I love this movie. I've always defended this movie, and a lot of people say it is the weakest of the franchise. I understand that. I understand when people say that, but as a guy who loves all of the entries in the Friday the 13th franchise, I don't care. Like, I freaking love this movie. Darkest Side of the Night is one of my favorite songs from this film, even though there's a lot of great songs. I actually think it's a good soundtrack. Does a lot of this stuff in this movie make sense? No. A lot of it doesn't, actually. The whole argument of how expensive it was to actually film in New York, whether it actually filmed, I think, in Vancouver, but I'm saying they filmed in Times Square. Jason didn't really take Manhattan, but in my opinion, he did. It's not like he's going to hold up Manhattan and destroy everybody, okay? I think there were a good amount of scenes on the boat and a good amount of scenes in New York. So, yeah, people have a problem with this movie, how he teleports and does all that stuff, but yet he does that in Part 7. He even does that in Part 6. So the whole teleport bullshit, that whole thing is a ridiculous argument, because those other ones get a pass, but when it comes to this movie, it's like, oh my god. I love the kills in this. I actually like the way he looks. I remember the Arsenio Hall show where Kane Hodder as Jason made an appearance there, and Arsenio's trying to interview him and he's not saying anything, and it was to get ready for this movie. That was a really cool, you can see that clip on YouTube. But I will always defend this movie, and I doubt anybody will have this in their number one spot. But that's why I love Friday the 13th. So anyway, guys, that is it. That is my number one spot for Part 8 for Franchise Frenzy. Stay tuned for next month, where we're going to be ranking the Part 9s, and that's going to knock me down to 7 franchises left. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. This is Rob signing off, and I'll see you guys next time.